Hey everyone, super excited for an update on the market and business from Eric Hansen, CMO at Mitel. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing great, Evan. Great to see you.
Well, great to see you. You've been on quite a journey with the Mitel team this year, and I'm excited for an update. First of all, for those who may not be familiar with Mitel in my audience, I'm not sure how that is, but maybe introduce the company, the brand, the history, and
Sure.
yourself.
Yeah, sure. So Mitel's a leader in unified communications, been around for close to or just over 50 years now. Really driving, I think, innovation specific to unified communications, customer experience, and critical communications. And we really live at that intersection of hardware and software, and really driving enterprise, helping to drive the business for enterprise organizations around the world.
Fantastic. And your team has been hard at work with many things. We're going to walk through those. But first of all, I noticed you have a new website.
We do. It's been a big
What's the
week
big
for us,
idea
Evan.
behind the new site? What's the story you're looking to tell, and what's the experience you're sharing on the new site?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, no, really, really big week for the team. We launched the new website, just yesterday officially. And what this really represents. A little over a year ago, we acquired a company called Unify, so a much bigger company now. Together, our two heritage companies coming together, we represent probably the largest install base in the industry. With over 70 million users worldwide and over 100 countries. And one of the things, when you do something like that, is you have to bring together these two brands. So over the course of the last year, we've been doing some experimentation, really thinking about our key audiences, bringing these two brands together. Some of which we need to address the needs of our partner community, which was really where the Heritage Mitel website was focused previously. But we also have a lot of direct customers that we wanted to interface with, and the old website didn't really address those needs. And so what this really represents is a couple of things. It represents, number one, being much more customer focused, where a customer needs to understand, especially somebody who's just entering their journey of discovery around solving some specific problems, but also really making it easier for customers that are looking for a partner, how to get quickly to the partner that's relevant and or in their location, or for partners to be able to direct their customers or existing customers, specifically to a part of our portfolio. And so with this new website experience, we really try to address both of those needs for those key audiences, again, which was a big journey for us over the last year. The other component to this is it's a much more interactive and rich experience that I think really represents where we're taking the brand in terms of in reflecting what's happening in the market. Right with this hero image, which you can see, we're telling the story that every enterprise organization is a little bit different. And what Mitel does is bring the right combination of solutions, some of which are developed by us, some of through some of our partners, and bringing that right combination of services and solutions to address the needs of the modern enterprise around the world. And you can see visually our CIO is the hero here because they have to support the needs of so many different constituents, from what so many think of as what unified communications has become, which is really doing what we're doing right now, having a video conference. But it's really so much more than that, as you know, Evan. It's those that still rely on a desk phone, those that are performing telehealth with so many patients in a given day, critical communications in critical scenarios in transportation and logistics, or even in the military. Um, we support all of those different scenarios, and that really is the definition of what unified communications is. It's much broader than I think some people think about. And when we think about where Mitel's going, it's so much more than your grandfather's PBX, right? But it's also a lot more than legacy UCAS or CCAS. And I think that's really the point that we're trying to illustrate with the new, kind of this new reimagined version of our brand, and where we're taking the website.
That's fantastic, and I can't wait to dive in. I had my first look just now, actually, so I look forward to diving into all the great content there. And talk about your future ambitions at Mitel, how it's about to go with the new site, and about your market leadership, which has kind of been a bit overlooked with all the noise out there.
Yeah, sure. So I think, one of the things of having such a large install base the way that we do, you think about the coverage by a lot of influencers and analyst firms that are out there. And a lot of the reports are based on somewhat limited sample size. And that's not to discount the work and the research that they do, because I really rely on them as one of the inputs that I think about in terms of what's happening in the market. But we have this unique opportunity at Mitel, drawing upon those more than 70 million seats in over 100 countries and dealing
Mm,
in some of the most demanding industries and geographies around the world, to reflect sort of what the market is saying. And it actually aligns quite nicely with what a lot of the analyst firms like Frost and Sullivan or Tech Isle are finding, which is, that the companies, especially large companies, are really prioritizing hybrid communications as their strategy, in terms of supporting the full workforce, right? So when you think about our story over the last year, the bets that we've been making in terms of the portfolio, how we're realizing that through the website, it's really to help reflect what we're seeing in the market. And in addition to that, what we're finding with those customers that we speak to, and some of the information that comes out of that great research from the analyst firms as well, is that it's not just about hybrid communications where you're interfacing, sort of different blends and combinations of deployment models and technologies. But it's also, even when you're thinking about cloud, that it's not just one flavor of cloud. It's not just multi-tenant cloud the way that we think about SaaS so often. It's actually dedicated instances becoming, there's increasing demand around that too. So within that hybrid strategy, a multi-cloud approach is the other component that we're really seeing. And again, we're really trying to reflect that story so that when somebody comes to our website or talks to one of our salespeople or one of our solution architects, they feel like we're reflecting what they feel in terms of the problems they're trying to solve, right? They're not being limited by a one size fits all approach. They can get a little bit more creative with what their options might be and where they need to go to solve the key problems, both for their business overall or for a specific line of business or geography, if that makes sense.
interesting. And I love the perspective there. How do you think the site serves, new customers or existing customers better compared to the old one? I mean, customers these days are looking to do a lot of their own research, look for insights and inputs on their own. What sort of content are you making available to them?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So, what we tried to do specific for customer audiences, where it's either somebody that's new to the Mitel brand, they might have heard of Mitel because obviously the brand's been around for
Mm,
a long time, or that, might be an existing customer that thinks of us the way we were, 10, 15 years ago, not where we are today. What we really tried to do is to incorporate some of an overall narrative and again, reflect what's happening in the market so that as they're thinking about, gee, what are those problems that I'm trying to solve? And is Mitel a company that can really help me address that? We want to try and give them more of a use case, more of an understanding of the business outcomes, more of an understanding of, hey, these are the potential negative consequences of your current state. And here are some possibilities in terms of where you may be able to take that, right? And I think that that's really what we tried to achieve with the website, is to create that type of journey so that a customer could really understand in plain English use cases and problem statements and take more of that style of approach versus too much speed and feed, right? And I think the old website was really architected around being more partner centric. And so for a partner of ours, it was very much oriented around, well, I know I need this specific product from Mitel, so I just want that presented front and center. But for a customer that's new to the brand, maybe somebody that's transitioning from another technology, we really wanted to be able to tell more of a full story that allowed them to explore and identify, oh, this is really interesting. I want to know more about that. Now, at the same time, we didn't want to lose that simplicity for a partner. So when you go to the nav and under products and services, you can see that there's quick access for a partner that already knows exactly what they're looking for, like Mitel CX. They can very quickly go straight there, right? Or for a partner that's new to Mitel, if they want to go straight to understand how do I get authorized for Mitel, you can see in the upper right, there's a quick access to the partner program. For a customer that wants to, get in touch with a sales rep or find a partner in their location, they can click the contact sales button, and it
mm.
immediately gives them the ability to engage with a salesperson or find a partner that's relevant for them. So we really tried to think about this in terms of what's the audience that we really want to engage with, and how do we best support them in terms of the process that they're going through. Does that make sense?
No, it totally does. And you're also a global organization, as you know, as active and engaged outside of North America as in North America. Maybe speak to that global audience as well with the new messaging strategy and new site.
100%. One of the things that we did is we really rethought what it means to have a global website. And so rather than make it feel like we're a US or North American based company that's just doing a couple of key pages that are translated, we try to create more of a rich experience for some of our larger geographies in language. And so for, the site is available in German and in French.
Mm,
And then, for some of the countries where we have maybe a slightly smaller presence in terms of headcount or number of customers, we still created a very rich experience in a broader set of languages, with fewer pages. So it's still a rich experience and more than just a homepage. But obviously, you could very quickly create a death matrix of content if you try to boil the ocean there. So we've tried to be very thoughtful in terms of where are our concentrations of customers, and where are our concentrations of opportunities, and really tried to optimize for that in terms of how we localize the site. But really trying to be thoughtful about what it means to localize. And look, we're just getting started. So, one of the goals is to further personalize, if you will, by region, so that some of the imagery that we ultimately will use as we continue to evolve the site will feel more and more localized to the key regions around the world that we do business in.
well, it's a great step forward, and there's been a lot of other momentum at Mitel. Maybe you can update us on the financial restructuring that's proceeding as planned, some of the other launches that have gone GA. What else is top of mind? You're wearing many hats, as they say.
Indeed, and I just got back home from the East Coast, so been on the road a lot as well. Yeah, so obviously we've continued the drumbeat in terms of product momentum over the last year, and right up until just a few weeks ago. Obviously we've been focused on getting through the financial restructuring process, which is I would say ahead of schedule.
Mm,
A couple of our friends in the industry have highlighted that not only did we say what we were going to do, but we did what we said in terms of it being a fast process. And we just got the court confirmation, which is, really that precursor to emergence from the process, which is really exciting for us. And look, I think as evidenced by, the website and the portfolio news, and some other news we'll be sharing in, probably the next month, as we get closer and closer to emergence. I think that just really shows the momentum of the business, that this was a healthy business, that this was the right thing to kind of restructure the capital and accelerate our ability, really to execute the business strategy we started a little over a year ago. So, that piece has been great. We announced general availability of our Mitel CX product, which it was very exciting. We had announced that was coming in the fall, and we got it to market, and the feedback at Enterprise Connect in the US, but as well as CCW in Berlin, was really, really great around the product and what a modern experience it is. In fact, some of the analysts that we demonstrated it for thought it was because CCAS and UCAS have been this proxy for modern for so long. They looked at it and thought it was a CCAS or UCAS product,
mm.
and then they said, it'd be really great. It'd be really great if you could deploy this in a dedicated instance, given all of the concerns geopolitically right now around data privacy. And I thought, gosh, what a great idea. We can do that, by the way. So, that dynamic modern experience with AI and everything else is being incredibly well received. And we're seeing some really great results from a sales perspective on the heels of that as well. We announced the general availability of our Zoom, joint venture around a
Mm.
hybrid client, which has also been very well received in the marketplace. So it's been a very exciting time for us this first half of 2025, and really looking forward to the back half as well.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on all the momentum and initiative and staying ahead of the curve. And appreciate the update, Eric.
Thanks, Evan. Always great to see you.
Always great to see you. And dive into mitel.com. Check out the new experience and all the great content that lives there. Thanks for joining, everyone. Take care.
Take care.